Hello, dear friends. You are not witnessing speculation. You are living through the transition. Opinion piece, frequency war, new chaos, annual despair, Christmas stress, spiritual warfare, a hard landing is coming. Europe silences its dissenters. France is heading for bankruptcy. Another powerful solar storm is coming. Let's start. December is a frequency war you are unaware of, according to Kerry Kay, who describes a month of invisible frequency, spiritual war where the future is decided through remembrance and surrender, not struggle. Behind the holiday stress and collective despair operates the false matrix that distracts you with shopping, politics, and exhaustion to prevent your access to a higher timeline. This month, the veil separating illusory reality from cosmic truth thins, sending a signal from the galactic field to our hearts, accessible through meditation or conscious breathing. The cosmic family aligns in quantum ascension, sending a universal ripple that restores Earth's nodes and human chakras, counteracting electromagnetic distractions and new chaos. The annual despair is not an end, but the birth of a new realm, a dying of the illusory self that integrates into a higher one, akin to childbirth. The heart acts as a stargate to receive this support, requiring strength to release illusions and allow ourselves to be recharged when we feel most alone. Activating love involves remembering that we are beings of light, transcending the matrix through presence in the now, without needing to relive past traumas or to relive. Another solar storm. Another solar storm is heading toward Earth after a strange seismic explosion. Our planet is moving toward a high-speed solar wind emanating from a massive equatorial hole in the Sun's corona. A large coronal mass ejection is on its way. Strong G3 geomagnetic storms may form when it arrives today, Tuesday, December 9th. The full halo wave was emitted on December 6th by a solar flare. It could trigger auroras from the Arctic Circle to mid-latitudes. Reset news. The system is changing faster than they want you to realize. Stay prepared. The next phase is already brewing. The 68-hour clock now reads 59 hours and 44 minutes. Their gods are not answering. Ours never left. The quantum financial system is safeguarding the transition as the old system crumbles under the weight of exposed corruption. The global currency revaluation was launched on November 29th and 30th, 2025. With Iraq, Vietnam, and Zimbabwe leading the public rate announcements. The timing of the internet blackout and the 10 days of darkness will be determined by an analysis of the international situation, performed by a quantum computer. The media will shut down, and people will be asked to stay home and watch documentaries explaining what is happening. According to Mr. Poole, the world is on the brink of an unprecedented economic shift. For generations, we have lived under a financial order based on artificial debt, silent destruction, and mind control, but that architecture is collapsing. According to Dalboom, when the QFS is fully activated, all bank accounts will be automatically merged. The system guarantees that every living human being has sufficient means to prosper. This eliminates generational control of wealth and ensures equality under the new financial paradigm. Patience. At some point in the not-too-distant future, you won't have to pay income taxes, said President Trump. Trump is furious after a Wall Street court seized his assets, including mansions and skyscrapers. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán tells President Trump that the European Union charges Hungary €1 million a day for not allowing illegal immigration. According to Julie Donas, President Trump will not utter the word "gisera." It is a gradual process to return what was stolen without collapsing the system. The process has already begun with the dividend checks. We have to be patient. It is a huge change. The dark side is losing everything. When President Trump was in the air, flying over Washington, D.C., Marine One was flanked by 7 golden spheres the size of football fields, without transponders and without fear. The pilot radioed him, "Sir, we have company." Trump's response was a single sentence: "Say hello to the pilots." They had him and foamed up. Hard landing. A kind of a standoff and a hard landing is looming as the cabal refuses to relinquish power peacefully, according to Benjamin Fulford. The Chinese say the situation is changing daily. If things continue this way, some kind of conflict could erupt in East Asia. The EU has an annual deficit of €300 billion with China. France alone is €20 billion in the red. China now accounts for 46% of France's total trade deficit, and yet there is no progress on electric vehicle tariffs. There is no resolution on rare earths. There is no major Airbus order. The French government is heading for bankruptcy because it has $300 billion in bonds due in March and no way to roll them over. They expected to use some $50 billion from Airbus sales to achieve this. Intelligence sources predict some kind of government overthrow in 2026. Ukraine would not be able to survive the winter due to attacks on its infrastructure. In fact, regime change has already arrived there. Decadence of Europe. When they say democracy, they don't mean it. Western civilization is being suffocated by illegal warfare in the name of democracy. The cultists of democracy oppose speech freedom because expression is what distinguishes human beings from animals. European civilization is dying, according to J.B. Shark. It has squandered the economic aid it received from the US after World War II by investing in centralized bureaucracies and tax extortionate states. By resorting to the narrative of weather change as a means for European governments to justify controlling the engines of economic growth. European nations have abandoned the exploration of cheap energy, private entrepreneurship, and technological innovation. In an effort to revitalize their economies with cheap labor and artificial population growth, European nations have opened their borders to tens of millions of foreign immigrants. The natural result is that foreign cultures have eroded and replaced millennia-old European cultures with little resistance. The Trump administration believes that Europe could be erased within 20 years. When living things die, they tend to react violently. Europe is no exception. Its political elite has decided to pretend that everything is fine and that the continent remains the lifeblood of the entire world. To reinforce this illusion, European governments have embraced censorship and state propaganda on a scale as obscene as anything that could happen in communist China, controlling the narrative and silencing dissent at the last gasp of any civilization on its deathbed. End of the system. According to Steve Biko, the G0 program, one ridiculed as a myth, is now emerging as the final piece of a global transition. Recognized by 209 sovereign nations, this loss marked the end of the central banking system and the rise of a fair and transparent world. At the heart of this transition is the quantum financial system, which is not a software update. It is a complete replacement of the banking matrix protected by satellite, incorruptible and immune to manipulation. It is the end of fiat currency and fractional reserve lending. The silent shift in the global payment system is not a coincidence. These are controlled dismantling procedures as the reset unfolds. The QFS goes far beyond money. Electoral integrity, educational records, legal archives, identity management, transaction, and social welfare system will be integrated into a transparent quantum ledger. The era of falsified data, rigged elections, and hidden laws is coming to an end. For the first time in modern history, power is returning to human beings, not institutions. This is not political theater. It is the dismantling of a parasitic architecture that has fed off humanity for over a century. Wealth extracted for nations, hidden in off-the-books deposits, satellite accounts, and secret vaults is being recovered. Gold and silver-backed currencies will replace fiat currency. Quantum encryption will protect every transaction. Inflation, manipulation, and artificial poverty will not survive. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.